had gotten involved with the Toastmasters Club a couple of years ago at school, and he's taken another approach now to get out and speak to more people to build his resume, and he's going to come and speak to us about motivation. So, Brandon.
All right, Brandon. We're a bunch of old folks. We need all the motivation we can get.
That's all right. I'll speak to anybody who will listen.
Hey, I'm not.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning.
Today I'm going to share with you 4 steps to living your dreams. Now, most of you probably already achieved your dreams. I understand that. But a lot of us tend to settle, and we end up raising a family, earning a living, and then we die. But I think there's much more to life than that. So the first step to living your dream is to dream. You got to have a dream. Now, dreams are everything to me. When I was born, or before I was born, my mom couldn't have a kid. She already had an older brother, but then she tried to have another one, and she couldn't. And so she went to the doctor and told her, if you're going to have another kid, you have to do it soon, because you're going to have a hysterectomy. And so they kept trying, nothing was happening, right? And so eventually, one day she was dropping my older brother off at school, and his teacher would walk him out to the car every day. And she would invite my family to different church events at her church. And she was telling my mom about this revival that was going on. And it had already been going on about a week. And usually that's about how long they last anyway. And so she was like, well, I'll be there. And so she went that night, and the evangelist there was performing miracles, healing people with paralysis, cancer, different things like that, just miracles. And so she kept going over the course of about 3 weeks. And one night, she was sitting in the back, we're Southern Baptist, so it's in the back. And the evangelist was saying, there's a woman here tonight who's been trying to have a child but hasn't been able to. And your uterus is slightly tilted. And he said something along the lines of, I'm declaring healing over you right now. And she felt like butterflies in her stomach. And soon after that, she found out she was pregnant. And in 1998, on December 21st, I was born, which just so happens to be my mother's birthday as well. And I'm named after the evangelist. His name was J.D. Walker. My middle name is Walker. And so with that story alone, dreams are very important to me. However, when I was in about 6th, 7th grade, I had this dream of becoming an all-star football player. My older brother, he's 8 years older than me. We went to the same school at the time, and he became this all-star football player. And I wanted to be just like him. He taught me how to play sports. He's the one who got me to walk when I was a kid. And I wanted to be just like him. And so I kept going after this dream of being a football player, right? And I had my coach and a couple of people tell me, you'll never do that. And I just kept going after it. And I became very depressed at the time because all my friends were telling me, like, you're not going to be able to do that. And I was just, why are you telling me this? And in the beginning of 7th grade, I was told I would have to leave that school. And all my friends were telling me I wouldn't be able to play football or be as good as my brother anyway. So as you can imagine, it took more of a toll on me. And so I became even more depressed. And I would always get this sick, anxious feeling in my stomach. And just felt like I had no purpose, no value in life whatsoever. And I went to this new school. I only kind of knew one person, didn't know them at all. And I just felt something was off, something was adrift, and I didn't know what it was. And so from the time when I was in about 7th grade, all the way until middle of 10th grade, I was always depressed. I wanted to know why I was here on this planet, what my purpose was in life. And I just became obsessed with this. And eventually, in 10th grade, I came across this tape by Les Brown. How many of you know who Les Brown is? For those of you that don't know, he's probably the best motivational speaker on the planet. He was really popular back in the 90s. He's one of those guys like Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, those guys. And so I came across this tape, and it was called It's Not Over Until I Win. I'm sure you guys know what cassette tape is. Usually for the younger crowd, I have to explain what it is.
It's an 8-track.
Yeah, right.
So I was listening to this tape every single day, and We had this thing in my house because my parents, they used to be in the Amway business back in the 90s. And so I was listening to this thing every single day. And over time, it reprogrammed my mind. And Les's message gave me hope. It made me realize there's more to life than I'm now experiencing. I'm here on this planet for a reason. And in his messages, he would always say, you have something special. You have greatness within you. You can do more than you can ever begin to imagine. And it just inspired me. I hope you guys feel the same way right now as I'm telling you this story. And I was listening to him and other people every single day. And later on, I was blessed with the privilege to meet Les Brown. And so this gave me the dream of becoming a motivational speaker. I wanted to share these principles, these lessons with other people because I was asking other people, like, have you heard of Les Brown? Have you heard of this guy? Have you heard of this guy? And I'm like, no. I'm like, why? Why are people not listening to this thing? I was like, there's a need for this. People need to hear this. And so it gave me the dream of becoming a motivational speaker. And this is, I believe, is my true purpose in life, is to help people and add value to people's lives, help them realize their full potential, their purpose. Because I've been right where they have been before. Clueless, adrift, a wandering generality, Zig Ziglar would say. Some of you might know who he is. And it's been proven that when you have a dream, it reduces the levels of stress, anxiety, depression in your life. And so by listening to Les Brown, it helped me overcome my depression. It taught me how to believe in myself. It taught me self-confidence. And so, guys, go after your dream, whatever it is. Some of you, I'm assuming, I'm not even assuming, I know that one of you in here has not lived up to your full potential. But it's not too late. Like at a graveyard story earlier, you're not in the graveyard yet. So go after your dreams. They matter because you matter. The next step is hustle. Now, dreams will only stay dreams if you don't do anything about it. You have to put in the work. For a couple months, I was just all about dreaming. I was like, yeah, I just gotta have a dream and it'll happen, right? But you gotta put in the work. And so as he was saying earlier, Mr. Ken, I got involved in Toastmasters. It was actually my brother who showed me Toastmasters. He lives in Alpharetta, and he was part of the Toastmasters Club. And so I went with him one night when we were up here for, I think, Thanksgiving. And there was, I think it was a 19-year-old kid there, and my brother leaned over to me, and he was up there speaking, and he leaned over to me and he said, you know, that kid's going to be so much further ahead than everybody else. And so that stuck with me in my mind, and so I started trying to find a Toastmasters Club back at home in Statesboro, and I found one. And my club, it was when I was younger than 18, and so I wasn't an official member, but my club, thankfully, they made room for me, allowed me to do speeches and work on my skills. And I completed the adult manual in a matter of, I think, about a year, maybe even less. And then I completed a couple other manuals, and eventually I was asked to be the president of the youth club there. And then later on, I met someone down in Richmond Hill. She's about my age, and she asked me to be the vice president of that club. And since I became so involved in Toastmasters, achieving so much, I was eventually asked to be on a news show down in Savannah. It's called WTOC, Mid Morning Live, just talking about Toastmasters, my dream, how it's helped me, different things like that. And so I started to get results, and it actually started to give me confidence in myself. I didn't have any skills prior to that with speaking. I didn't know how to have those. And so I think about 9 months later, after I started Toastmasters, was when I met Les Brown, but then I was also asked to speak in front of, it's called Fields of Faith, and it's through Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And I think it was roughly in front of about 1,000 people. And so this Toastmasters is what gave me the skills to do that, the confidence. It's what gave me the confidence speaking in front of you guys. Before that, I would never want to speak to you guys. So, as I was back to the step, hustle. You got to be willing to put in the work, no matter what your craft is. If it's business, you're going to want to stay up late every single night. The hour of the hustlers is what they call it. Put in the grind, the time, all that stuff. You see, I was, over the course of the past couple of years, I didn't have many friends. I had a very select few, but I always wanted to prove people wrong. And so I started putting time on Friday and Saturday night instead of going hang out with friends. I would be teaching myself how to build a website, how to start a podcast, which I have now, how to build the skills, how to build self-confidence, how to build myself into the type of person that can speak in front of millions of people and inspire the world. So that's the second step, is hustle. Now the next step, step 3, is gratitude. Be grateful. Boy, was I an ungrateful kid. I had an amazing childhood. My parents were the best in the world. I have an older brother who's amazing. He's like a role model. But I took it for granted. And especially when I had to transfer schools. Before that, I was at a private school where my brother had gone. And when I went to this school, I was ungrateful. I was like, why do I have to leave this school? Why does my brother get to be the all-star football player at this school? Why does he get to go off to the University of Georgia and have the time of his life? Why do I have to be stuck here and being depressed and not knowing what my purpose is, not playing football? Why? And I'm the second child, so I was getting the hand-me-downs from my older brother. But going to this new school was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. I hated it at the time, but it was probably perhaps one of the best things that ever happened to me. My eyes were open to situations where kids, they didn't have all the things that I had. They didn't have the parents that I did. Some of them went on the weekends or the holidays without a meal. And so it just really gave me perspective on how blessed I am in this world, in this life. And so it's important to practice gratitude. Personally, I practice it. I try to do it every morning, every night. And of course, I mess up here and there. I'm not perfect. But you see, you can't be angry, you can't be frustrated at the same time that you're grateful. Tony Robbins teaches this a lot. So you want to stay grateful as much as possible. And it will change your life forever. So I challenge you guys, at night, write down what you're grateful for. In the morning, just thank God for what a privilege it is to live in this world, to have the opportunity to inspire people, to change people's lives. Now, the final step is be of service. Be of service to other people. Now, I really didn't understand this lesson until probably about the beginning of this year, honestly. I mean, it's always been something in the back of my mind. I was like, yeah, that's important, but I didn't really learn it until this year. I was meeting with a mentor, and he's a very successful motivational speaker. He's very, very successful in business. He's successful in, honestly, in my perspective, in my personal opinion, every single area of his life. He has an amazing family, and so it's a person I aspire to be. He's the type of person that you want to be. He's the type of father you want to be. And so he was just telling me, the motivational speaking realm is just all about changing someone's life, inspiring people. And I was like, wow, this guy has it all basically, and he's just focused on changing people's lives. And so it's important to be in service to other people. But perhaps the most important lesson of all is be of service to God. I'm sure you guys can agree with that. By your doing the prayer this morning after the Pledge of Allegiance, not many people do that. Not many people practice that. And so guys, those 4 steps. Number 1 was dream. Number 2, hustle. Number 3 was be grateful. And number 4, be of service to other people, your fellow man, and your Creator. And so, as you go towards your dream, as you try to implement all of these lessons that I've taught you today, try to do your best in just being a role model for other people. Be an example. Set the example. And so, as I leave you guys today, I want to leave this quote with you. It's by Burton Braley. Les Brown uses this quote a lot too. But it says simply this, that if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, And if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish nor doubt, sickness nor pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God you will get it. This has been Brandon Poole speaking. Thank you very much.
Hey, Brandon, I'm motivated.
Thank you.
No, really, that's very good. And how old are you now?
18.
I thought you were 19.
I'm about to be 19 on December 21st.
All right, see, I was close. Listen, it's not often you find a 19-year-old saying the things that he says.
That's right.
And just to encourage, I want to say something, because you said a lot of things that are personal to me. And one is that what the mind can conceive and believe,
It will achieve.
it will achieve, okay? The next thing is, dreams, they do come true.
Yes.
If you really, really believe it, what he's saying is honestly true. And I want to back up something he says with the dream. I was probably about 12 years old. Yeah, somewhere around that. 11, 12, 13. And my uncle bought this house on the southwest side of Detroit. This is circa 1950, somewhere around there. 51, 52. And he bought this home, and he went in and he turned the thermostat, and the heat came up. And I was like, wow! Man, heat! Now, wait a minute. Now, to him, this don't mean anything. The Willie B, the Carlos, and some of you old heads, remember we had coal stoves? And you had to go get the coal and shovel the coal and bring it in the scuttle and make the coal and all this kind of stuff. Well, going into a house and turning the thermostat was like moving into the 21st century. Well, anyway, to help you with your story, I said to my uncle, I'm gonna have a house like this by the time I'm 25. He said, really? I said, yep. Fast forward, I did have that house. I was 23. Let me tell you what happened. Brand new house too. My first home, bought at 23. And I went to the city of New York, and I was sitting down. I had forgotten everything. So I'm sitting down, and the lawyer's sitting there, and he says, how old are you? And I said, I'm 23. The guy says, you're 23, you can't buy a house in the city of New York. I said, what? He said, you're gonna be 25. I said, what? We've come this far. He says, forget it. Yeah, you got it. And right then, the little man said to me, you're 23, he said, you're going to have that house by the time you're 25. And I got that house. Another thing, I was 16 years old, walked between my house, and I said, I heard some friends, older couple, about 23, 24, they were arguing. And I said, you know what, Lord, I don't ever want to be like that. I want you to give me a wife that I love and she loves me. And you give me children, and I love them and they love me. Because I don't ever want to get divorced. I want you to give me that kind of life and that kind of family. You know what? God gave me that. Gave me the desires of your heart. And that's what he gave me. I dreamed it, and that's what he gave me. And I was married 45 years before my wife died. And I still have wonderful children. They love me, and guess what? And I love them. So the dreams, and I'm going to finish this with your motivation, because I really am motivated by what you said. Kennedy said this earlier, and all of us, most of us know this, right? He says, we're going where? To the moon. We're going to the moon. You see, a dream is one thing, but a dream will not be realized unless you have a time limit on it. If I said I was going to have that house by the time I was 25, what did Kennedy say? We're going to the moon.
Within 10 years?
That's right, we're going to get there by the end of the decade.
Yeah.
So your dream must have a timeline on it, because this is what makes that dream kick in. And so Kennedy said that, and we got to the moon. So what you're saying here, I am motivated by what you're saying because it's inspiring to me, and I'm an old man, but I don't want you to lose your dream. And finally, I'm going to finish with this as I say this, because I want to encourage him because he's encouraging me, so I want to push it back and forth. And my last point to this is that I went to the Virgin Islands. They transferred me from New York to the Virgin Islands. And one day, I hadn't been working there very long, in St. Thomas, I guess. And someone left on my desk a little bottle about this high, and it was, with little rings around it, and it had a cork in there. And in that cork was inside the bottle was a little piece of paper. And I read it, and then I asked the ladies at work, I said, where did this bottle come from? They said, I don't know. I said, you put this on my desk? I said, no, I didn't put that on you, because I had gone to lunch, come back, and there's this little bottle sitting on my desk. So I went around the office asking people, is this your bottle? Whose bottle is this? No one claimed the bottle. No one knew where the bottle had come from. So I kept the bottle. This is what was in it. I am lovable. I am capable. I have the power to gain riches, happiness, power, and success. The power is within me. I cannot fail. And to that I added, for I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I kept the little bottle. When I got that bottle, I was down here. I was the lowest man in the post office in the Virgin Islands. And when I left there, that was 1977. And when I left in 1997, I was second in the kingdom. I was the plant manager in charge of all Caribbean operations for the Postal Service. I am lovable. I am capable. I have the power to gain riches, happiness, power, and success. That power is within me. I cannot fail. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Brandon, if no one else was appreciative of what you did, I am.
Thank you.
But you spoke to my heart. You just reinforced some of the things I've learned over the years. Can we say amen to this guy? Hey, Brandon. Hey, Brandon, you're not finished, man. We want to thank you for what you have done. Hey, for coming here. This is our certificate of appreciation. Thank you for coming to us, and these are a couple of little tidbits that we have for you.
Thank you very
I
much.
want you to remember us, and when you reach your pinnacle of your success. By the way, his last thing is my last thing of the 3 goals I always taught my children. You know, the second one was get the very best education that you could possibly get. Why? A trained mind company is quicker and effective with more force than an untrained mind. And then lastly, be ashamed to die until you've done something to help humanity. Do not go into eternity with empty hands. That's what you just said. Make sure we go out and serve others. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm with you guys. I'm trying to serve humanity. That's why you guys are here, because we're serving the youth and the people of the world, right? So we're living up to what you're saying. Hey, can we say nice hand to Brandon? All right, Brandon, you think you're finished, but you're not finished yet, man.
You guys have any questions or comments?
Yes. Hey, any questions for him?
I got a story, a success story.
All right, let's hear it.
My grandson is 26 years old. He went to Georgia Tech. He got 2 majors. One was in mechanical engineering, one was in German. And he always liked cars. And he took 5 years in Germany. He speaks German. In fact, he went to Germany and lived with a German family, and I thought he spoke with German. And he went to work for Mercedes. He's now 26 years old. He's head of North America Mercedes sales.
Wow,
That's
that's
amazing.
impressive. That's impressive, really.
That's amazing.
That's impressive. Anybody else?
We had a dream, just like,
All right.
he also went to speaking Toastmasters.
Toastmasters.
He took a course in that.
It's,
too.
Toastmasters is promoted a lot within corporations.
Well, thank you, and you're not finished yet, because you're gonna, hold on, do it right this time. What? 2, 1, I'm just trying to be fair. Get back in there and try one more time. You got to get us something better to hold this thing from coming out. Does that sound better now, guys?
They're back where they were now.
They work? There you go. Okay, Brandon, you're going to pull from this.
All right.
You're going to read the last 4 numbers. Whoop, there goes
I guess
one.
that's the one.
That's the one. That's the one you're going to pull.
That was mine, it just jumped right out.
Last 4 digits?
Last 4 digits.
All right. 1, 4, 7, 0.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Muhammad.
Hey.
All right, let's see.
This is it. Oh. Let me have to take it to you. No, I'm sorry. You get a chance to pull one more.
Yeah, you missed mine that time.
1, 4, 6, 8.
And here he comes. This may be your lucky day.
Your odds are a lot better.
Your odds are a lot. Oh, I'm sorry. You did not win. All right.
Thanks, Tim, that reduced the
With that, good Brandon, thank you very much. I wish you good success in your life too. So you get to 75, you'll tell others a great story in your life.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to see you
Friday at 7, right?
Friday.
Friday before you or you?